Hello everyone, this is Maryam Janati, and as promised today I'll be talking about accents. But before I do that, I want to talk about my previous video where I announced the topic of this video and about the series of videos that I'll be making. So I might not have explained myself well when I said that the topics that I'll be tackling will be related to languages and linguistics in general. I think that some of you might have understood that I will be talking, like I will dive in the field of linguistics, and I will be given informative and really detailed information. But it's going to be more of like discussing the topics broadly and not diving too deep into them. As for the video of today, I'll be talking, as I said, about accents, but it's going to be more about spreading awareness because I saw this problem regarding accents since I was a kid, and I think it's growing now, especially because we have social media and people attack each other a lot, in comments and so on. So I thought it would be important to talk about this issue. So when I was a kid, I noticed that when we change wilaya, you see other people speaking differently than you, and you get mocked if you speak differently. Like you're the one who's not speaking like the people living in a certain place. But then I saw that people also mock you when you don't pronounce things correctly, or you have a weird accent or a non-native accent when you speak a foreign language. And that starts usually with French because it's the language that we start learning in primary school. So I saw that kids mock each other even if they don't speak it themselves. And as I grew up, I started seeing that many people who don't speak French in Algeria usually understand it but don't speak it, and they feel really uncomfortable or shy or embarrassed when they try to speak it, and they avoid it. And that could even lead to hatred because they were mocked a lot, so they start hating the language and anything related to it. And that's really bad because when learning any language, any foreign language, the most important thing to do is to practice. There are four skills that you need to focus on. There is the listening, there is the writing, and there is the speaking. So if you don't speak the language, you can understand it, but it's a problem. You need to communicate with it. So then I started seeing this shifting to the English speakers in Algeria. And since Algerian Black Pearl is dedicated for the English-speaking community in Algeria, I thought that it's important to talk about this issue. So this started by seeing people, when you make a comment and someone has typos or grammatical mistakes, and they're talking about a certain topic, the person will be like, learn English first before you talk about a certain topic. Even though those people probably would say a language is only a tool of communication, but yet they would mock others for not writing correctly. So yes, those people will need to learn, but you need to practice in order to learn. And if you keep on mocking those people, they will just feel uncomfortable and not practice this language. As for the speaking, I started seeing that there are some Algerian actors who spoke in English, or even before that, I saw like Algerian politicians, or even I saw a minister once speaking in English in a conference or something, and some people were mocking her even though she delivered her message and the person she was communicating with understood what she was saying. So they were like, we don't even have someone who's in the government who knows how to speak. And I don't think that it's important for someone in the government or any institution to master a language, a foreign language, perfectly, as long as they can communicate with it and deliver the message, even if it has faults, even if it's not grammatically correct. And I think that's what matters because they have other things to focus on in their field. And then I saw those videos going on the internet being discussed. The first one was an Algerian actress who spoke in English, I think in a TV show or something like that, and she made a grammatical mistake, and people were mocking her, and then she made a video justifying that she was correct, even though she wasn't correct, and there was like just self-defense But I thought that was all problematic. All of that could have been avoided. I don't see what's the point of that. What could it be beneficial for the person who made the mistake, for the people who are commenting on it, for the people who are reading those news, who are watching those videos, who are reading these comments? I think we're just wasting our time. And then I saw a famous page, Facebook page, who shared a video of an Algerian actor, and I think he's a model too. And he was making a video talking in English in his Instagram, and they were like, this kind of English you learn through NBC channels and stuff like that. And it was just the same behaviors I saw people facing when they try to speak French, and now I see people facing them when they try to learn English. And, those comments such as re-IP this language, re-IP French, re-IP you massacred this language, all of those comments are useless and harmful to the person who's trying to speak this language. So then when I posted the video on Facebook, I got lots of comments saying that accents don't matter and that the pronunciation is what matters. And I agree to a certain extent, but accent is actually just a manner of pronunciation. So, I don't know. I got some comments of people saying that I have a nice accent, so thank you. And probably those people would think that I lean towards American accent somehow, but I still have my own accent. So if a native speaker hears me talking, they would definitely notice that I'm not a native speaker. They could maybe even know where I am from if they are familiar with people in Algeria who speak English. So all this accents thing is an issue, and if we want people to be comfortable and start learning a language, we should stop bothering them. And I got lots of comments of people telling me about their own experiences. So there was this a friend actually who saw my video, and it's been a long time we didn't talk, but she contacted me to tell me about her own experience. So she studies dentistry, and they study in French here in Algeria. And she told me that she had a teacher who's an excellent teacher, I think is even a professor maybe. And when he was new and he's young. When he started talking in the classroom, he obviously doesn't master French well, at least he has an accent. So there were some students who left the classroom because they felt he's not a credible teacher because he can't even pronounce French well. And with time, they realized that they were wrong, and he's an excellent teacher. He just doesn't have a perfect French accent. And she told me that, on the other hand, there are teachers who would mistreat students because they don't speak French well, and if they ask a question, they might even ignore them because they have an accent. So all of this discrimination based on an accent of a language that's not even ours is really problematic. And I think that what we can do about it is to spread awareness. So most of you who are watching this video already speak English or are able to understand it. And if you're facing this problem, know that what matters is delivering the message. So try to practice, even if you're making mistakes. We all make mistakes. That's inevitable. You can't not make mistakes when you're learning a new language. And if you already know this language and have, siblings, friends, anyone in your surroundings, or you witness someone on the internet who's bullying someone else because they can't speak a language, try to stop that. Try to tell them that this whole accent thing doesn't matter, because even in linguistics, in sociolinguistics, which is a study related to how language is in society, most of linguists would say that acquiring a native-like accent, especially when you're already an adult, is almost impossible. So that's not something you should focus on when you're learning language. You should focus on grammar. You should focus on acquiring vocabulary maybe, and just being comfortable when speaking it. But we got a comment from someone who is a teacher, English teacher, and he also said that many of the comments agreed and said that accents don't matter. And he said that He even met professors and teachers who were natives and shared the same sentiment with me. And this sentiment is that each person has his own accent, and acquiring a British or American accent is not important. But he said if you're really, really interested in having an accent, there are those 5 steps that you could do in order to acquire this accent. So first, you will need to find a native speaker that inspires you to speak well. Watch him constantly, repeat after him, record yourself repeating, and then listen to yourself and self-evaluate your progress. So this is an advice if you want to acquire an accent. And we got this comment also saying that language is a tool to communicate or convey a message, an idea. However, accents might become relevant if words are pronounced wrongly or it transcends to a certain cultural hierarchy. I'm not sure what he means with cultural hierarchy, but yes, it can be problematic when you mispronounce a word to the extent that it becomes not understood. But still, that shouldn't stop you from practicing, from talking either way, and maybe the person who doesn't understand will just ask you and you will repeat yourself and you will learn through this process. And the most important comment that I liked, it was just a quote, someone shared it. It says, "The only normal way to begin speaking in a new language is to begin speaking badly." So this just proves that it's inevitable to speak badly, to make mistakes, and if you want to learn, you will have to pass through this process, and it might even be a lifetime process. You're always learning this language, you'll always need to practice it, and you might, I don't know, speak it for years and years and decades, and you will still have your own unique accent, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's all what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to spread awareness concerning this topic, to advise you, to encourage people around you to practice whatever language they are learning, and to try to stop the bullying around you, even if it's in schools, in your school, or if it's online, and to continue practicing and speaking comfortably. So that's all for today. Thank you.